I'm Pat.
Hey Pat, I'm Jeffrey.
Hey, dog.
She don't feel like talking. It's all right.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Well, just balls week at work,
Why?
grading,
Why'd you do that?
because I get paid to do it, Jeff.
Heard the story before. I don't believe you. No, it's fine.
I get paid way too much to do it, by the way. Oh.
That's fantastic.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, I felt so.
yeah.
I saw that they were posting police salaries this week.
What do you mean?
Well, the cops are hiring.
Oh,
I
really?
get paid
Hmm.
more than cops finally,
What were their salaries?
like 90,000.
You get paid more than that?
Yeah, I
Holy
do.
shit!
Yeah.
All right. Congratulations, man. That's cool.
Well, I guess, but I don't do that much public service.
Who cares?
Yeah, fair enough.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Shit, yeah, man. That's cool.
So I'm thinking we should change the podcast a little bit.
So what?
So I did go check out that Schedule One game.
Okay.
It is co-op. I
Oh, okay.
was thinking a co-op live stream of you and I trying to sell tea, quote, quote, might be kind of fun. Oh, geez. Yeah, okay. We're totally fine. Doug is sitting here trying to. Oh no, never mind. We're in transit.
What are you doing, Doc? You have to make a decision.
I
All right.
think you heard.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
decisions have been made. So, but anyway, that game is co-op. It looks really
Oh, okay.
cool.
All right.
Yeah, just have to finish a shitload of grading before we can do that.
I gotcha.
It seems like Valheim, but not.
I think you can see some of that DNA in there, sort of.
Definitely that DNA in
Yeah.
there. Yeah, where you go out and collect resources and sell them appropriately.
I think at this point, the guy that made it doesn't care if we buy it or not. I think.
Yeah, that guy can afford more than enough weed at this point in time.
I don't even know if that's his game. All I know is that he sold a shit ton of copies and only has to divide that by one. And
Well, that's by one. Yeah,
right,
right. Yeah.
right. And I couldn't be happier for that guy. I think that dude would just like at this point be like, fine, and I pirate it, whatever. I'm good.
Well, I saw these things where like there's previous games that are trying to sue him.
I noticed.
Did
I
you see
saw. I
those?
saw that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just stupid.
Can you
It's
actually like patent a game mechanic?
um some asshole attorney let Nintendo do it.
Which one?
So that game, Pal World, right? If you're
Okay.
familiar with it,
Hmm.
okay. Well, so it has some like Pokemon type elements in it, right? That's the aesthetic that it's going for. And so it had this mechanic where, as in the Pokemon game, you capture things in balls and you let them go, right? You capture them and you throw the ball out and it
Sure,
comes
sure.
out.
Yeah.
Okay. Um,
Someone tried to sue him for that?
they did successfully. What happened was,
Really?
so Nintendo didn't hold a patent on it, right? They never patented that mechanic. So after Pal World came out, they couldn't sue them for it. So after the game had released, Nintendo then filed for a patent for that and got it, even though other people had used it.
And they were really able to claw back that revenue that he made from that?
I don't think so. I think what he did
Okay.
was he just took the mechanic out. He just changed it to something else. But somehow they let them patent that mechanic after it had been used by other people.
See, that's whack.
There are some other mechanics that have been patented in before. So, for example, right, um, especially when games used to take a long time to load, right? So back in the day, Namco had this thing called Tekken Bowling, right?
Okay.
And what they did was while the game was loading, okay, they'd use some of the RAM to play like a small game in between, so you'd play something while the game was loading,
Hmm.
right?
A
They
little mini game in it.
Yep,
Yeah.
and they patented that mechanic, which is why in games you can like rotate something, right? You can look at something, you can read something, but you cannot play any
Oh, like
games.
Fallout.
Yep. You can like rotate a bat around or something like that, but you cannot play a game.
Because they patent that.
Yep.
No shit. I didn't know you could patent a game mechanic.
You sure can.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the only experience I ever had with was with the what was that one Lord of the Rings game?
Huh. I don't know.
It was the one where the system where you actually go fight different guys, and then you build like a rapport with those guys.
Oh, the one that you played all the time?
Yeah, all the fucking time.
Shadow of Mordor.
The Shadow of
games?
Mordor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they had the Nemesis system in there, and apparently they like patented that too.
Yeah, that is yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that sucks.
I don't know. I don't. It's hard for me to say.
You're
Like,
right.
it's a weird thing, and for the most part, those things are so small that I can say like, all right, I got it. Um, and if you want to use that system, I guess you can. You can just go ahead and fork over and say like, hey, we want to use this. As a matter of fact, I presume that you could get their data
Oh,
from it too.
you have to
Um,
pay royalties to it.
you do, but you do that for a ton of shit. Like anytime that you start up a game and you see all those logos of ADX and all that other shit, that's all, proprietary stuff that you're using for, physics engine and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, but like Unreal only requires like a screen cred.
right.
So you're just paying a royalty then. They're not shutting down your game.
No, and I don't think they can really shut down your game. I think they can, they can charge you. Well, they can sue you.
Unreal's got like this like really laid out way of you can use our engine until you sell so much.
Right,
Then at that point in time you have to pay us a royalty,
right, right,
and then it's all hosted on, their actual system and stuff like that.
right.
Same thing with Steam. So Steam takes like what is it? It's like a 30% cut
Yes,
off
they
the
do.
top.
Yep.
Yeah. So but if you sell like a million units like this guy's done the last like 2 weeks, whatever, man. It's just like divided by one.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're right, man. I think that the whole games thing is going that direction because this game looks pretty freaking sweet. So
I mean, let's not pretend it's not. Obviously, you cannot zoom in on these things and basically count the individual pores and blackheads on a person's
that's
nose
not the art
like
style.
you can
No.
in certain things.
Yeah.
But no, that's the thing is what does the tool let you do, right?
Hmm.
How do you optimize this? You set this up in a way that it should run on anything, right? Everything is based on art style instead of graphical fidelity.
Correct.
Nobody seems to care. Nobody. I don't think
Mm.
there's anybody out there that's just like, this is ugly. I don't want to play it. You know,
No, because apparently
yeah.
it just has a really cool gameplay loop.
It
Yeah.
has a charm to it too.
Oh,
That
yeah,
that
sure.
look is
Yeah.
is part of the charm. Is the kind of stupid looks on their faces and stuff like that is part of the charm. Um, the same thing as the one other person that was paid for their work was the graffiti artist.
In that game?
Yeah,
Really?
but I don't think they were made like owner. I think it was just work for hire.
Yeah, 1 for 1, huh?
Yeah, where it
Yeah.
was, we don't want like generated shit or anything like this. Come up with a whole shit ton of unique graffiti, and I guess that's part of the charm of it
Hmm.
too. And yeah, I couldn't be happier that fucking studios are getting their lunches eaten by this. It's just,
Yeah, of course, man.
you guys have had it coming. I mean,
Oh, totally.
you get what you deserve. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, have you watched the full GTA 6 trailer yet?
Like the one from a while ago, or
Apparently there's a new one out
when did this come out?
just a
Like
couple
this
days
week?
ago.
Or,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
I only saw the old one. I didn't know there was a new one.
I think there's a new one. Either that, I was like a little bit behind on loop there. It looks great, but
Man, it could have happened, but I don't know.
I think it's probably the last like full blown billion-dollar studio game that we're going to see for a long time. Because if you have a game like this, which is basically like drawn with stick figures, you know,
Mm,
yeah, that generates that
fairly
much
close, yeah.
interest on Steam. Yeah. I mean,
Well,
enough to the point in time where I noticed it. I want to play it.
well, and here's the thing: they're not. That dude is not alone, man. There's plenty of games over there in that like that shit's been gaining traction for a while. That very small studios and things
Hmm.
like that who gone on to move a shit ton of units. That's the way it goes. I mean, there's been quite a few games out there that have just tore it up from that perspective. And I think it's fantastic. I think um, God, I think it's great to see like meddling getting punished.
Yeah.
It is, man. Like you can tell the you can see the stinking fingerprints of fucking like producers like
Everywhere,
getting it
everywhere.
on there and
Yes.
giving fucking notes and having like sensitivity coordinators and all this shit. It's like you're talking like it's not like you don't just fire people. You like that. You fire them into the sun. It's like this is shit that has been ruining media, like totally ruining media for the last like 20 years, and it's got to go. I hate all of it.
But see, the cool thing is that like the tools are actually approaching the creators now.
Absolutely.
So you don't need, a production team of 20 people in order to actually like make something that's like just fun.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No. But on top of that little program that you're playing with, that Unreal Engine also doubles as like a movie making studio.
Yes.
People are doing that kind of
Yes, they
stuff,
are. Yeah.
you know. And how'd you do this? One program, one computer. No shit, huh?
Yeah.
So I noticed your credits flew by awfully quick at the end of the episode. But,
Actually, they're at the beginning.
well, they were there at the beginning and the end. It's just the
Yeah,
same
it's
name.
the same name. Listen twice.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Well, see, I decided not to fuck around with it. I said, so the end credits was like this guy, this guy, this guy,
This is my
everything
playtester.
else, right?
Yeah.
Everything else, me. And it ended up
Right.
being like very, very, quick.
Yeah. So I got to get through another week of grading here, but then I'm going to go check that game out.
There you go.
So, yeah.
Is this the end of your semester?
Very close, man. Two
Wow.
weeks. Two
Wow.
weeks. Yeah. Well, and then finals week, but I don't assign finals. I never have.
Well, then I don't think this applies to you.
No. No, 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 man. What I ask my students every day is like, how many of you have stressful finals? And about half the hands go up. It's like, why? Like you're here at 90% completion rate, let's just
Hmm.
get you over the hump.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So you do the work, I give you the grade. Easy peasy. Not everybody appreciates that.
I think they do. I
Well, my
think.
students do.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know about my colleagues. But,
That's their problem.
oh, yeah.
So that's a YP, not a.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did go check out that whole thing that you were talking about with that stabby stabby.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and so that kind of exists on its own like partition of Twitter.
It does intersect with like white supreme Twitter, but not. Uh,
You gotta write that down,
I
man.
didn't.
Right from Twitter.
Well, no, there's a black Twitter, and so there's a.
Well, Black Twitter has basically been shushed.
I mean, because there is white Twitter. It's called Twitter. Black Twitter is Black Twitter, and then there's an offshoot of white Twitter that is white supremacist Twitter.
Right.
And uh,
So anyway, I dipped my toes into that a little bit,
okay,
and then all of a sudden it started blowing up on other parts of my feed.
okay.
So I don't get the whole like self-defense thing. What we're gonna have to see how that pans out. So, but I did see all the thing that you said about his dad, just showing up and getting shushed, kind of thing. I have no idea about that. So,
It's embarrassing. And did you see that fucking huckster that's tied to that family that is trying to he's not the father of the killer. He's like this reverend or some like asshat representative in a bow tie that like he's so like he's pronouncing words he doesn't know what they mean and shit.
I did
Like
see that. Yes. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like the
Yeah. Yeah.
fastest, the
Yeah.
best thing you idiots could do for yourselves is divorce yourself from this fucking idiot as quickly as possible.
Well, I mean, we talked about the huckster wagon. I guess it needs a new driver, man, and there you go.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess this dude has a CDL or whatever, but I mean, it's just, this dude is a fucking ass clown. It's just seriously like you're watching him. It's so close. I'm like you're getting close to the words, man. It's like
Hmm.
and what you're representing and the his mom is just as bad too. She's
I didn't see that.
oh my god.
So,
Again, this whole
well,
thing
the
is like,
Sharpton has to have like something to pass his legacy on to.
I suppose, but I
Yeah.
mean, you're sitting this fucking watching this bitch go crazy and stuff. She's like, my daughter, she can't sleep in the house. I'm like, yeah, the victim's dead.
Right. Yeah. He did.
Right, right.
Yeah. He got poked.
Like by
Yeah.
your son.
Right.
I get your concern, madam, but he's dead. And your son brought a knife to school to a school event.
A track meet. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Was in the wrong tent. Was told to leave, as is their prerogative because he doesn't belong there.
Right.
Then said,
Wait to find out. Yeah.
yeah, it's like, see what happens. Seeing what happens turns out is knife, right? And you're sitting there bemoaning it like that.
Yeah. That's not what you expect. It's like, okay, you're gonna splash your coke in my face or something like that. Yeah.
There's no evidence of that. Yeah,
Right.
there's no video from there. Just a couple of different people who have said different things about what happened, right? One person, because what they have confirmed is he said, "Put hands on me and see what happens." What nobody can say is for sure who did what.
Correct.
But all I can tell you is that does not warrant stabbing somebody with the knife that you should not have brought to
In the
school
heart.
in the first
Yeah.
place.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Because at no point will. Here's the thing. It turns out that like you breaking the law in the first place is not something that can be overlooked when it comes to the event that happens afterward. So if the knife wasn't supposed to be there, right?
You weren't supposed to use a knife. Yeah.
Correct.
Right. Yeah.
Correct. So the very idea that they're painting this kid as the victim is disgusting. The very fact that assholes are donating to this kid is disgusting.
See, that's how that bled into my feed with the amount of money that actually poured into quote unquote defense fund. So, because
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all right. So to be fair, I watched a lot more mainstream guys,
Oh, sure.
and they were like, "What? It didn't show up." But then, like, there's a couple guys that I listened to, and they started poking into this, and then once I picked that scab, it started to bleed.
It's weird, yeah, because you're
Yeah.
right. That scab has got it's like a pressure scab. Like it doesn't look like it. It looks like a normal scab.
No, but it's over an artery. Yeah.
You're not kidding, man. Like
Yeah.
if you dig at it a little bit, of fucking hydrant breaks, man. It's just like the city guys have to come to close it up again. And told the kids not to play with this.
Yeah.
I know.
That's what happens when you get your hands on a monkey wrench.
Yeah.
Just blow up the whole neighborhood.
What?
Yeah.
No, it's nasty. I mean, because this is
It was a little nasty once I picked at it a little bit.
Yeah.
It was like, come on, man. Didn't we do this like 3 years ago? What the hell? Why do we have to actually take in this direction again?
it's a fine question. Well, I mean, you know what? This is
I don't know.
It is what it is. It's race grifting. We know it's race grifting.
Correct.
The ugliest kind of race grifting.
It's the most opportunistic thing that you can actually see.
The fucking representative, again, this was the same thing when he brought up Kyle Rittenhouse, and again, he said,
Kyle Rittenhouse is done and buried.
Well, no.
No,
Here
come
was the
on.
thing: was he said, "How is this like? How are people shelling out for Kyle Rittenhouse and not my guy?" He's like, and he shot 3 black guys in the back, and
No, he shot 2 white guys. Yeah.
correct
Right.
in the front, and got hit by a skateboard in the process.
Correct. Yeah.
Like, you still think that's what really happened, don't you?
Right.
I know. I
Yeah.
know.
No, I don't see
Fucking
that much
ridiculous.
play out of this, man. It's one of those things, you know.
It's an embarrassment. I mean, it's something where, again, like the dad, to his credit, like you saw this,
Yeah, I saw that.
he was as straightforward. He's like, I don't want to turn this into
I
political.
saw where he got scared
Yeah.
off on Twitter. So I was like,
Absurd.
you
I
got to be
know.
kidding me.
I know. And again, there's weird stuff going on with like crowdfunding. I'm like, how the fuck are you guys going to go out there and like, if you remember the Canadian trucker event,
Yep.
they shut down any crowdfunding for the people out there that were part of this.
Dude, they clawed back money.
Clawed back money.
Yeah.
They seized like assets. They froze their bank accounts, right? For the purpose of making this thing stop. And you're sitting there like, well, this guy stands accused of murder, right?
Yeah, totally different. Yeah.
Like, this is ridiculous. And that, again, there's no form of this aside from like activist judging where she's like, I'm going to cut the bail down from 1 million to 250,000. I'm like, how? Why?
Well, it's just
Why?
so he can reach bail. Yeah.
Like, well, and this is, I mean, if you look at her, it's like, oh, I have a book on sale. It's like, oh, it's about racial injustice in the justice
The
system.
judge
Like,
did?
no shit. Yes.
Oh, okay.
The fucking, did you see the thing out of Minneapolis, out of Minnesota?
Mm-mm.
So one of the dickheads in the attorney's department, right? He's on camera. He got caught like fucking up 6 Teslas, right? They have him. I mean, it's his face.
Wait, the actual district attorney or?
Somebody that works in that office, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That works for that. Got caught. Okay, he's six of these, and they're not going to prosecute him for it. They said that we have a deferment program where if he goes through this, he won't go to jail, and we're going to put him on that instead.
Okay.
Fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like
I
all I
wonder
can.
how long like Minnesota voters will tolerate that.
Well, here's the thing. This is a guy that says he's linked to walls. Is the thing.
Tim Walz.
Yes.
Yeah. Who's become shockingly irrelevant.
Persona non grata. It's like, oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. You are a retard. And you are an Elmer Fudd looking retard, and all you do is embarrass this party. So,
Which is why he took the job. Yeah.
the only thing I can hope is because I know that they were looking at like domestic terror charges. All I can hope is that the feds actually overstep this and say like, nah, we're going to charge them federally.
They might.
I really hope so because you cannot. Here's the thing: you can't let people walk on doing this shit because it is the death. Like if you let people know that this is okay, it won't stop. The only reason it's slowing down is because assholes are looking at 10 years in prison for doing.
Well,
this
yeah,
shit.
they're getting busted left
Yeah.
and right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the whole thing. I think I was talking about this on the last podcast was if you don't have a fucking mob of 10,000 people around you,
Mhm.
the cops figure out who you are pretty quick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know, man.
That shit got me hot, man. I'm like, this is as blatant corruption as it gets. And I'm like, if you guys don't get called out, first off, I'm like, whoever like signed off on that, they should be gone. Like, there is no version of this where you
I
prosecute.
don't think anybody would have signed off on that.
They did because they're the ones that said that we're going to go through this deferment program instead of charging them.
Oh, you mean the Minnesota
Uh-huh.
district attorney? Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you can hold them accountable for that.
You know, those guys never get ousted.
What, within an individual district attorney's office? I don't know about that.
Yeah, especially in that place. No, because who's going to have to sign off on that?
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, so it would be the legislature of that state.
Right.
They're not going to.
Yeah, I don't know. That might be changing too. No idea. Not my neighborhood. Not my
Yeah,
problem.
fair enough. Yeah.
So, you know.
That's absurd, man. Yeah, that one got me hot. But like the rest of it has been just it's been kind of a slow week for other
Yeah, it
stuff. Thank
seems that
God.
like things have kind of chilled out a little bit, and we're all waiting to see what China does, and you know, uh,
Yeah, they're bloviating, but
yeah, but he backed off on some of that stuff today, so
some of
kind of
that.
curious about that. I mean, he's just playing chaos agent in some respects.
Well, no, they straightened out. I think they agreed to terms with India today.
Well,
Um,
Vance went over there, and of course, his wife is,
hmm,
half Indian,
right.
so India's. I don't know. I don't know anything about it, man.
The
So
country or their situation or what?
yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's fine.
all the things. So I have no idea. I know they don't like the Chinese.
No.
So, and yeah, right now we're kind of in a little bit of a pissing match. And I was kind of surprised to see him back off on some of that stuff today.
What, like with cars?
Tariffs in general. So
Dude, I don't know the full game.
I don't
I
know
think.
either, man. I mean, it's like jumping off the cliff in the dark. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago.
Mhm.
I don't know if we've landed or what. Yeah, no idea. So, no idea. I know that like CEOs of like Target and Walmart and all that stuff met with him last week or earlier this week.
Right,
They're like, yeah, we're gonna have empty shelves in like 2 weeks. It's like fucking good.
right,
Yeah.
right,
So how many plastic placemats and cheap ass toys do you need?
right,
I mean, okay, I think about that like 5 minutes before
right.
Christmas
Hmm.
when I have to find things for other people, you know?
That's a tough one. Yeah, because it's like, hey, listen, man, I can go to the shelf and get the pot with all the rest of the fucks I don't give about this, but the
Correct.
the truth is, the question would then be like, so could you find anyone else to fill those shelves, even if they cost a little more?
Yeah, but you're talking about a $25 pan versus a $30 pan. Fuck it.
Totally
Yeah,
understand.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
I totally understand
I'm
that.
good on pants and plastic placemats and other bullshit in my house. So
Totally understand,
whatever.
man. I mean, I think again, the only thing that I can say for sure is that people are aware of his lunacy, which is, I think, part of the plan. You have to let people know that they can get chopped, and um, at that point, as long as you're aware that it can happen to you, it's all right. It goes back to that same thing where I don't remember who it was fucking mouthing off to him, and he showed him a picture of his house. Um,
Wait, what is this?
he was trying to remember. It was I think it was a dude from Iran, I think, and he was like talking some shit, and like
On the Twitter?
no in person, and that's when Trump went and got a picture of his house and showed it to him. He's like, "I know where you live." That was enough to get the
This one right
discussion.
here? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
right. You know how I took this picture?
From space.
Right.
Yeah,
And I think it was one of those like, anything else we need to say? It's
yeah.
like, nah, we're cool. It's like, yeah, we are cool,
Yeah,
aren't
we
we?
are. We
Yeah,
can be cool
yeah,
if you're going to be cool,
right.
bitch.
And again, that's the kind of stuff that I don't have a problem with. Like, I don't need my president to be nice all the time. I need my president to actually like fucking talk some shit, to actually like cause a little bit of trouble from time to time, because it means that he's doing this in the best interest of the country, right?
Yeah.
And I understand that there's going to be some shocks, and I'm not standing up for everything he does. He's fucking like he's he's part carnival barker. There's part of me that's kind of like,
He
all right,
is.
you're a salesman, you're a huckster. I'm like, that's okay, but um,
That's distinctly American, though.
it is American. I mean,
Yeah.
there are other versions of it, right? There are like cute versions of it. There's a French version of it that's like artistic, but I mean, there's like, you know, artistic and like fake sophisticated. I don't care, but I mean, that's the thing here is put these people on notice, right? If we actually have the authority to get some things done, do it. Make the fucking idiots in this country that are trying to die on dumbass hills die on those dumbass hills.
Yeah, and
And
they
my
are.
God, are they?
Yeah, they totally are. Harvard in particular this week.
Right,
Yeah. I mean, I
right.
can't believe, dude. Like, there's a couple things that I had to go and look this shit up.
Mm.
Exactly how many students are actually in Ivy League schools, and it's minuscule.
Really is, isn't it?
It's tiny.
Yeah.
It's tiny.
Because they don't have big admissions. They're not.
No,
They're
I mean,
not Ohio State.
Harvard's
Yeah.
like the biggest one, and it has like 22,000 students, 24,000 students,
Right.
something like that. It's like Jesus. But then I went out and I looked at Yale and Princeton and Brown and all these other different schools, and they get progressively smaller
Mm-hmm.
to that point in time. It's like, wait a minute, why are you guys pulling down $2.6 billion in funding?
It's a great question.
You know, when I can
Right.
go up to like 3 schools in this state, you know, and combined, we have more like students in our institutions than you do, and you have a $40 billion endowment. Jesus
Right.
Christ.
Right.
You know, I mean, do you have any idea how much like $2 million in funding would go at my school? Oh,
Dude.
Jesus. I mean, it's not even close. You know, I mean, yeah.
And here's where it gets crazy because they say a lot of these funds coming from the government are to fund like research and all this other stuff. Here's what I can tell you: you can have that research done at a lot of other places just as good,
Way cheaper.
way cheaper,
Way cheaper.
way
Yeah.
way the fuck cheaper. And like when it comes down to it, it's like, okay, so what did you stand for by starting this fight? What are you actually standing for by getting in this fight?
Oh, it's all DEI and stuff.
Well, it's two things. Yeah, it's DEI and basically stop trying to get in the way of people trying to get rid of folks that are anti-Semitic, right?
Oh, yeah.
Stop and again, I understand that there's a little bit of a hubbub when you say like, but they're like they're not citizens. Well, are they citizens? Like, no, they're not citizens. And frankly, I mean, here's the thing: is if you're here and you're not a citizen and you're causing this kind of unrest and you have ties to terrorist organizations, I have no problem getting you the fuck out of this country.
Right. Yeah.
None.
Well, I mean, student visas should be very restrictive on that. They always have been in my experience.
Right.
You know, I mean, you're just like, hey, man, I'm here to learn. You know, not trying
That's
to
the
change
thought.
your fucking political system.
Correct.
You know,
Correct.
And so, I mean, to be fair, there's been a bunch of students here in the Colorado system that have been ousted by that, and there's just not this like big, you know, like movement on any of our campuses here to actually like do any kind of like political stuff. And so, I hope some of these guys aren't getting swept up in that. You know,
I
because
hope
they
so,
might be
yeah.
actually
Right.
doing really good work, or you know, like trying to advance themselves or their field or whatever.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
but you take a look at a school like Harvard or Columbia or whatever.
Right.
You know, it's like, hey, what are you guys doing? You have you have a fucking golden ticket.
Right.
Knock that off. All right.
You have a golden ticket that's paid for with a shit ton of money that's not yours.
Correct.
It's being paid by a very wealthy family member of yours who isn't paying for you to come over here and start a ruckus and fucking score points for fucking Hamas. Like, that's not what you're here for. Fuck them. Okay?
Hamas is an interesting discussion.
Well, you got some sympathies for these guys or what?
No, I do not. Absolutely not. I just been like kind of like flustered a little bit about the softening on Hamas that has taken place over the last like 6 months or so.
From whom?
I don't know, establishment dudes and stuff like that.
All right.
And it's like, so I've been reading Douglas Murray's book since I got off that fight book from last fall.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And oh my God, dude, October 7th was fucking horrifying. So
Yes.
absolutely horrifying. It was
Yeah.
only like a year and a half ago, and everybody's already forgetting about it and stuff like that. And it's like, I mean, you don't have to go that far into, uh, like I did in Telegram to find like absolutely horrifying shit,
Uh-huh.
And it's still like, oh well, or well, save the Palestinians and stuff like that. It's like, my God, how quickly we forget.
My man, I'm going to put it to you like this way. I would have absolute solidarity in that regard if, and only if, the regular Palestinians who saw these guys said, "You have
What the fuck are
disgraced
you guys
all of
doing?
us.
Yes,
You're
exactly.
going to get us in trouble." And if they'd strung every one of those fuckers out Mussolini style, right? Then I'd be like, you know what? You guys are
Cool.
all right.
Yeah, yeah. Come
Hey,
to Harvard.
right. Exactly. Exactly. And you know
Yeah.
what? Israel does need to back off and they need to make things right. But you know what? When you harbor these fuckers,
What do you mean by that?
oh, in terms of basically like carpet bombing the fucking, strip, in terms of like
Well, they
wrecking the
haven't
place.
actually done that. That's the thing.
No, but they've hit targets and look, you're talking to the wrong guy. Okay, I'm doing my best to say like you guys should find
Holy shit,
harmony.
I'm right to the you, and I'm right to you on this issue.
I don't think you are. I think I'm talking about if you guys had, as an act of goodwill, like disown these guys so hard and basically
Just give up the hostages.
give the hostages.
Yeah.
If the Palestinian people in general had just like captured these fuckers,
Well, they're all
like,
buddies now.
well, I mean, I mean, that's the thing is that they'd have taken like the guys that orchestrated this, um, put them in irons and deliver them to the Israelis and said, "These motherfuckers do not represent us." Right?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. You guys need to renegotiate talks right now because you guys are actually good neighbors and you guys need to make peace, right?
If they wanted to do that.
If they wanted to do that.
Right.
But here's the thing is most of you fuckers were cheering when this happened. And as a result, whatever
Well, they
you have
came
coming to
over
you,
in droves and looted the cars.
yeah.
I can't believe this, man.
So when it comes down, it's like if you cheer when that happens, then you get what you get, and I do not give a fuck. And if they,
It's like 9/11. If the Brooklyn,
yeah,
like locals had coming over and like, yo, where's all the Jew gold? I mean,
right,
it's bananas, and that was a year and a half ago.
correct.
Yeah, and I just cannot believe this in some respects because reading that book, it's just it really brings it home in some respects.
Mm-hmm.
And I know like he's had his fights with fucking Joe Rogan and who's that other douchebag?
There's so many, Patrick. There's the
Dave,
one
whatever his name
Dave
is.
Rubin, or
I don't remember. So, but it's just like, holy shit. Why is this still a thing? Why hasn't Israel bulldozed this?
and you are asking the wrong guy because
Yeah,
I mean
okay.
that's
I spent the last 2 nights reading that, and it really was like, why the fuck would you actually support these people? You know?
especially as we've talked about, like if the source of where this happened, if it happened in Manhattan and the place that it originated from was Staten Island, Staten Island.
it'd be an it'd be an underwater island.
This is what I'm talking about. I'm like, and we're supposed to be neighbors.
Staten Island
I mean,
invaded Manhattan. Come on, man.
flew like 150 hostages, and then you're like,
Exactly.
and you guys haven't gone house to house yet.
Dude,
Just
even the Mets fans would come out for that.
you're ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and
bananas, man. I just don't get that, and I don't really see it as being a sustainable position. But well, that goes back all to like, all right. So I was watching Matt Taibbi and Walter Earn the other night.
I'm familiar.
Yeah. So who got roasted by Lauren Loomer last week, and that's why that showed up on my feed.
Oh,
So
okay.
by the way, so she called
What
him
was the roasting about? What did she?
He called her out on her support for what the fuck was it? Um,
Was it people that suck?
well, yeah,
Oh,
but I can't remember exactly what it was, but she fired back to him on Twitter, calling him a creepy old man. And I was like, well, yeah, that's what he does.
All right, fair enough.
So,
Criticism's valid.
what was it? I can't remember exactly what the beef there was, but it had something to do with like one of his positions on something or another.
Okay, all right.
And so anyway, I went back and listened to our podcast the other night about all this stuff. Um, and just was like, my God, you're crazy.
She is?
Yeah, you're crazy on this stuff. I mean, just chill out about that shit. And a lot of it had to do with Israel and things like that too. But whatever.
Well, look, I get. It's not as though I don't understand the Israel grieving. As a matter of fact, one of my, um, I'm a fan of this particular exchange. So the genie says, "Look, man, it's already gone. Come on, wish for something else, please." Me, Tel Aviv, third time, make this one 100 megatons. Now, now, I don't hold, I don't, obviously I don't hold this position per se, but
right,
like
right.
the anger that goes into this, if anybody wants to thumb through and say like, why do they keep getting our support? Why do they keep getting our money? Why do we keep trying to get involved with this? And I understand, right? That's a legitimate complaint, but also the problem that I have with us is, in some ways, I think our handcuffing to Israel is what kind of stops them from doing what they probably should be doing with
Well,
less mercy than I would have.
well, that's my point about like that and Ukraine in particular.
Right.
I mean, it's like, all right, so we did this 80 years after 1945 where we fight proxies and stuff like that. Got it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Very bloody. Not as bloody as it could have been, but
Right.
very bloody.
Yeah.
But you're dealing with different folks here who didn't like charge the fields of Flanders and shit like that.
Right.
And
Right.
so, like a lot of these international institutions that we've built over the years, they're based upon that experience. And now people want to fight it out. And so, fuck it, let them fight it out.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
get to it. So,
But you don't need us to do it.
correct. And so, like, I mean, like the Israelis, absolutely, they could scrape Gaza down to like fucking sidewalks tomorrow if they wanted to. But then they would own that.
Right.
Yeah, you break
Right.
it, you buy it.
Correct.
Kind of thing.
Yes.
And well, Putin's learned that over Ukraine. You break it, you buy it. And so what he's done is he's actually created Ukraine as its own fucking nation, which it wasn't before because it was half Poles, half Hungarians, half kind of Russians, and then some Russians.
Yeah.
And now it's Ukrainian.
Right. 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 Yeah.
So you hit it with a hammer enough, it actually like eventually comes together, and that's what's happened. And I mean, Gaza is just different, man. I mean, it's a whole bunch of dudes there who are like, oh shit, the border's open. Let's go grab ourselves some fucking cell phones and Ray-Bans and stuff like that. And they take them all back and they say, oh wait, whoa, we didn't mean to do that.
Right.
And it's like, but you did.
Right. Right.
And you tolerated these guys who did that.
Right.
So you should answer for your own government at some point in time.
Correct. And they're in that sort of nebulous zone where it's like, well, we don't really have like that kind of government. It's like, well, get one.
Get one. Yeah, exactly.
Because
Yeah.
if you want to talk to adults, you have to have an adult government.
Correct.
Not a whole bunch of people that can say like, well, I didn't see nothing. Did you see anything?
Oh yeah, these guys are over here in Dubai. Like
It's like,
they
no,
take all
man.
our money. It's like why? Why do
Yeah.
you let them do that? Yeah.
Yeah, fucking like this happens. You got a bunch of dudes with their hands in their pockets, like whistling and kicking rocks. I'm like, don't even play dumb with me. Y'all fucking know what's going on.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, and this is where like, again, our attachment to this in some ways is sort of a problem because, like, are you guys going to condemn this? Like, I don't know. Maybe. Should we?
Well, I don't know, man. There's this piece of this that just like it reminds me of 9/11 in a lot of
Yes.
respects.
Yes, it
Yeah,
does.
and it's like, what the fuck? Fuck you guys. Let's go do this. But then, imagine 9/11, but the Soviet Union was still a thing.
Yeah.
And it told us like, hey guys, be chill. You know,
Like, nicely, or were they
well, no, we don't want
telling?
this to get into a bigger thing, blah blah blah,
Right.
kind of thing.
Right.
But there is no way that even something like the Soviet Union, even if it was like red alert levels, or
Right. Right.
would be
Right.
able to tell us to chill the fuck out.
Yeah. Tesla Coil Soviet Union would still
Zap
not.
the fuck out of all the bugs. Yeah.
They can, but not ours.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I just don't quite get it, man. Especially after reading this book a little bit, it's just like, fuck, that happened.
And again,
Jeez, that's awful, dude.
and that's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about is like you see that and you know what that is. But you know that those people running around there, like the fucking rich kids wearing the Palestinian fucking Italian restaurant, tablecloth dish rags on their heads. You
You
guys don't
weren't at
know.
that fucking.
You have no fucking clue.
You weren't
It's
at that concert, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
This pretend
So-
solidarity thing that you have with these people, I'm like, do you really understand the people that you're pretending to have solidarity with?
I would ask them to defend their actions. So
Right.
you're right. Yeah,
Right.
you can't do it, man.
That's the thing that sort of makes me like disgusted by it. And this is the sort of stuff where, again, if you have this crap going on and you have basically people here on fucking like student visas and shit and advocating and saying like pro Hamas stuff, I'm like, yeah, your ass can get on a plane and we're gonna ask you once.
Go pick up a fucking rifle.
Yeah, because the
Yeah.
second time, if we have to ask you twice, yeah, you're getting in the cannon and we're firing you to your fucking home. It's like, get the fuck out of here. It's like, I don't have time for this. And the same thing where you have moron after moron flying to El Salvador to kind of, look at this kind of stuff and play weepy-eyed at the, like, here's the thing. The American public sees those dudes in wearing clothes of prison tattoos, sitting in the
Correct.
middle of the room, and 95% of them, in all honesty, are like, good. Because I don't
Oh yeah,
want
absolutely.
you in this
Yeah.
country. Right?
No, man.
And so this little play acting thing of like, this again, this is they pulled this today. That like, if you go to the mainstream media and they're talking about this jackass, that they have this dispute over, and the mainstream media calls him Maryland man.
That is so wrong. That
It's
is
so
that is such a
disingenuous.
disservice to
Yes.
like people actually in Maryland Bay.
Yes, and only 10% of the time did they mention that he's an illegal immigrant. And this is the kind of shit that there's two things on this that are really fucking up, right? This the whole media war on this right now, and this is where you're really fucking up, is because they're trying to play to public sympathies, they keep referring to illegal immigrants as migrants. Okay. The problem is that muddies the
That's
water
different.
with
Yeah.
actual migrants.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. People will actually go through the front door.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
Which
those,
is amazing.
and the
So-
people that went through the front door don't fucking like
They
the people.
fucking hate it.
Hate them.
They hate it.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's like, wait a minute, why do you get to cut line in front of me? Yeah, no, man.
Well, especially like these guys, like, we don't like the MS-13 guys either.
No, they're assholes.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And to do that to basically garner sympathy is only pissing off the actual migrants, right? Don't keep calling this dude Maryland man. Don't like keep trying to conflate this shit where it's like this.
That's not going to last a
you
week.
guys.
That's not going to last a week.
You
man.
guys have lost.
I've
the
already
plot.
seen
And
that.
fuck off.
So there's a great news show that I watch every morning. And they invite, like just randos onto this. And they had this absolutely fantastic, like Hispanic woman from South Florida today. And she's she's like, what the fuck, man? She was like, I went through this. My husband went through this. We had our kids here. We're all legit. Why the fuck are we actually defending some dude who's obviously got gang ties. Now, to be fair, all right, is being part of a gang actually a crime? I don't know. So nobody's answered that question yet, unless he's actually been charged with a crime that's based upon that gang. Okay, fine. Set that aside. All right. But still, how many dudes do you have who are in prison based upon association with that who are American citizens
Right.
who don't get the same kind of level of due process this dude gets, you know? All right. And so what the fuck are they going to do anyway? They're going to bring that guy back and throw him right back in prison? So, okay. And just to deport him to what country?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just it's ridiculous, and it's just this like whole like just reactionary response to whatever it is that the Trump administration does,
Right.
and so we can glom onto something like this. But I'm going to tell you, this is a field full of rakes that the Democrat Party is just going to have to wander its way out of this, man. So, and I truly feel for whoever is actually going to go up in a 2026 election, in terms of like, individual like state and local stuff, let
Yeah.
alone 2028. I mean, okay, God damn it, that's 3 years away. There's
Yeah.
going to be a lot more shit to talk
Yeah.
about between
Yeah.
now and then. But still, it's like, get your shit together, man. I mean, because one of the important things about like our whole democracy is that you actually have an opposition. If the opposition
Right.
is crap,
Yep.
okay, then really when it comes down to it, you're just handing it off to like whatever becomes the establishment. And Trump is rapidly establishing his own establishment, which
is.
some
Right.
of it is good,
Right.
and some of it is a little bit fucking scary. Their whole defense of Pete Hegseth this week is kind of like, ugh. Yeah.
There's part of me that says like, okay, the major. All right, you can break that down either way. I don't. To me, I'm like, I don't see anything that you did as like a cardinal sin. This is a little bit bigger than it should be.
It's 2 strikes on a 3-strike ball.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. And well, because the thing is like, in terms of the term, it's like, well, brother, I mean, like, you're the first like batter of the first inning. Like, you have
Correct.
a lot more game to play, and everybody
your
messes
job
up
is to get
once.
on base, bro.
Right. Everybody messes up once. Nobody bats 1,000. You have to come clean like for the rest of this duration because
you're going to come back around in the rotation, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're bad strikes earlier on, but the thing, this is the brilliance of what Trump has done here, and I get it now. I totally understand, right? When he came out there swinging, and he said like, I have in my hands 250 binders, and I'm going to sign them all. And what he did was he said like, here's what I'm going to do. And I know I'm overstretching my authority on this, on a lot of these. He's like, watch this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sign off on what are basically a shit ton of 80-20 policies.
Totally.
80, like where it's like the public, 80% doesn't want fucking men and women's sports. Now, this is an overreach, but I'm going to sign it anyway. I'm going to throw it out here.
Same
Why?
thing with the border.
Because that means these dickheads have to fight against an 80-20 issue, right? They either have to let it slide or they have to stand on it. And that's exactly what's going on with this butt plug that they're trying to get back in the States and do the little like crying at the fences bullshit again. Like,
he totally baited them.
He's got you. And you guys are eating out of his hand right now. And that's why you all are at like 21% approval. And this dude's been floating around 50, right?
Yeah.
Because you guys have to go to bat for fucking scumbags. Now, I will say there are times, as like for like free speech stuff, I'm your scumbag. If you want to stand up there on a principle and do this, but he doesn't have any issues like that going on right now.
Well, other than the students who are on H-1Bs. Yeah.
Right. And even that one is kind of, I think more people are.
Yeah. I mean, that's one you got to take by a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
So, but even that's a play, if you think about it. Yeah, it's totally a play. But here's the thing, is the Democrats are going to score a point on him somewhere. So
right.
They've just
coming.
They've just picked poorly at this point in time.
The question, ultimately, what's going to come down to is it's all about this dice roll of the tariffs, right? Because
it is a dice roll. I can't call it. I have no idea.
And to this end, I think this is basically his legacy issue. He's like, I've got to gamble. I have to do this in the first 2 years, right? Because things could change in 2026. I don't know how,
It might.
but I have to roll this, and it's either going to hit big, and that cements my legacy, or it's going to blow up, and it is what it is.
Dude, I think like the bedrock of his legacy has already been cemented, and that's the border. So
Yeah.
you notice how that's peeled off the news because nobody fucking disagrees with it.
Except news, yeah, except agencies that are
Except
trying
for
to
a
make a big
few
deal of it.
fucking people here and there, but
Yeah.
they take a look at it, and like even I was telling you about this on the podcast the other night.
Mhm.
You know, Marco Rubio was saying that the biggest problem that he has with like Central American companies now is turnarounds.
Yeah.
And that is
Yeah.
a completely different, like conversation than, gotaways and getaways
Yeah.
that we were
Yeah.
talking about like 6 months ago. So it's completely fucking cooked,
Yes.
and that was a stroke of a pen, kind of thing,
It absolutely was.
Yeah, that's a big fucking win,
Huge. And especially
Huge.
because
Huge.
because it gives you all the proof that you need to say, like, you guys let this happen on
That
purpose.
guy's fucked up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
And they're
So-
right, because that basically opens the door to everything where it's like, so when you were block lifting people from here to here,
Right.
that looks suspect. Let's dive into it. Because if you could shut off the tap like this, why are you doing this?
Right. And why are you letting 2 million people onto Medicaid rolls every single fucking year?
Oh,
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And then it's like, okay, well, let me like sign this shit with my fucking chicken scratching
it is. I mean, it's a
kind of
serious
thing,
yeah,
and it
it
just
is,
like
it's,
turn around like that immediately.
And that's the same thing when they start shutting the. It's when you look at what happens as a result of this. When you go when they go out there and they gut USAID, and then you look a week later and you see all these news agencies firing people and shutting down. Then it's like, why were you getting paid from this?
Well, we know why now.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, the proof's in the pudding.
you're acting as a propaganda wing for one party. And like,
Correct.
this is y'all are fucked. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not sitting there trying to like. I know that there's plenty of Republicans with their fucking hands in the cookie jar, right, doing all sorts of nasty stuff. But as for right now, I can tell you which party's on the chopping block because they're getting chopped.
they're getting chopped. But the funny thing is, you've seen like very little out of Mike Johnson. Like,
Right.
yeah, Mike John Mikeson.
John Mikeson.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, he's been really chill.
And he has.
And so, there's a little bit of discipline going into that party as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think right now there have been a certain list of people that have probably been told, don't say anything,
Shut the fuck up.
right?
Yeah.
Just be cool. We're going to make it through here okay. As a matter of fact, maybe we retire after this, right? Because, look, there is all sorts of shit right now going on. Like when you just busted out, you say, like, you make how much and what's your net worth. There are some incongruencies here that are
totally.
fucking absurd.
Yeah,
Right?
totally. Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, yeah, I get it. That's the business, but I think you all are about to get caught. And I hope you do.
Well, they'll probably front run it. We'll see.
They will. I think there's going to be a lot of people that will basically finish out their terms
Call it good.
correct.
Yeah.
Right? That it's the thing. It's like we can make this one big fucking thing, and then you can show us all your cards, and we can show you all of our cards, and everybody's going to go down. But there's one other option: is why don't you just bow out gracefully?
Just be
and
cool.
let that slide.
Yeah.
We'll let you walk with your $78 million.
I'm just going to let you shush out of here.
We'll let you walk with that. We're going to let your kids stay in their fancy schools, and stuff like that.
And they
But
might get a job in the State Department someday. You never know.
Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
Maybe.
Depends on if we're friends in a while. Are we friends?
Are we friends? Are we
Can
cool?
we be friends?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
We
I
can
know.
be friends.
And again, you cannot have, right now, they still have not they have not tard wrangled the people in the party that are an issue. Like, you have to, here's the thing, you have to find the fucking muzzle for dipshits like Jasmine Crockett who are doing
On the
nothing
Democrat side? Yeah.
but making you look bad day after day after day.
Look, man, I don't really mind the froth that's going on in the Democrat Party because they're gonna have to sort that out one way or the other.
Yeah.
So we'll see where they wind up. So, like Bernie Sanders and AOC had their whole tour, and that was a complete
Mhm.
fucking flop. You know,
You people showed up that were going to show up anyway. I
Correct.
mean,
Yeah, exactly. Many of them are probably paid to be there.
you know what?
you
There's
know,
evidence of that, and on top of that, the little psyop here of basically trying to use these protests as sign of disrest, like unrest in the country. It's not working.
see what you have to wait for with the Democrat Party in particular is like I don't know, man. You got to think back to Bill Clinton days
Yeah.
where he moved the party closer to the Republicans.
Yes,
So, and that actually gave rebirth to the party.
that is correct because he
Yeah,
out Republicaned the Republicans.
he totally fucking did.
He stole their best issues.
But you understand that,
Yeah.
like that forced like a whole bunch of Republicans over to the Newt Gingrich like shit, which that produced the backlash.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it didn't get like Gore elected,
No.
but it gave us like a very moderate George W. You know,
So much to the point. I mean, that's the thing is, realistically, it could have gone either way between those
totally
two, and
could have.
that tells you
Yeah,
how close things actually
dude,
were.
they
In
could have
terms of,
tripled down on like Hillary's healthcare plan and stuff like that. They didn't
oh,
do it because they realized that it wouldn't win.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and so we'll see where the Democrats go. I mean, fucking guys like Chuck Schumer out there, he's on the way out anyway. And so like Democrats are kind of like an open etch a sketch right now at this point in time. I mean, obviously nobody's going to go for the fucking Bernie wing anymore because they can just like get on board with Trump. So
Well, I mean, here's the thing: is you the you can't get on board with the burning wing because it's like getting on board with the Lions. I mean, here's the thing: it's like no,
you're
look,
totally right,
because
man.
like even if you like
You
them,
got this one guy.
yeah, even if you like them, you're like, look, dude, I get where you're coming from, and you try hard,
Yeah.
but you are just like, I'm sorry, man, you're a perennial loser, and it's not always your fault
Right,
because I can go through and I'm like, I can like go bit by bit and say like, look, okay, this was a bad call. The refs fucking hosed you here,
yeah.
right? I can go to this one and say like, Las Vegas sunk your game right here in the name of like Clintonium Las Vegas. Okay, they totally fucked you. I get it,
Yeah.
and I want to support you. You just can't win. They won't let you,
Correct.
big dog.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Right?
they're not going to like give you a chance to run with the ball. And now at this point in time, he's 42 years old. So,
Yeah. I'm like,
well, not that guy. That guy's like 80.
I was like, it's a starting quarterback. I said, I got you. It's
Right,
like,
right.
yeah, it's rough. And yeah, and here's the thing: is there's a branch of the wing that does love AOC, but not the like. You'll never
It's
get
different than it was 2 years ago.
you'll never get middle person one to cross the line and say like, yeah, I'll stand up for old fucking horse face here. She doesn't like fucking. I mean, it's like
She's already branded. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then you go into like, let's go into
I
the.
mean, I guess it could come back around. I don't know.
It could. I mean, but here's the thing: is she'd have to have something dope under her belt that would actually be able to pull middle people.
She'd have to have a legit bitch.
Correct.
Yeah.
Or an
So that a
accomplishment
whole
that's
bunch of
like
people like actually identify with. Yeah.
pretty much.
You're right.
So her claim to fame right now is being in an undefeatable district, and there's still people out that are like, we hate her.
Well, a lot
because
of people have that.
well, I mean,
Yeah.
within the people that live there, because they're like, well, she's the asshole that told Amazon to take a hike. She
Correct.
stopped like 60,000 jobs from getting in here, right?
Is that still a thing?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, that was all on her.
Well, I get that, but I mean, time is its own like balm. So
Well, here's if she were going to strike, it would have to be while the iron was hotter than this, because right now
right,
she has
yeah,
mistakes under her belt, whereas
correct.
it was like pure idealism before, and now, of course, she's also she's also unfortunately tied to some of the biggest, loudest assholes in the Democratic
She
Congress
is.
right now. It's like, you know what?
I don't think they have that much time left, though. I mean, you look at the Democrat Party, and then just take a look at like some of the biggest assholes in that party.
Hmm.
I think they're about spooled out. So
I would hope so, man. Like again, there are certain things that it's it's utterly bizarre. Like if you look at the polling right now, and
It's terrible.
but it's not just terrible. You look at the dudes who are like, oh well, I thought people were lining up behind Gavin Newsom. They're actually not.
No, they hate that fucking guy.
Yeah,
This podcast is garbage.
see,
So
that's the thing. You
yeah,
have to be funny. I mean, that's the thing. You have to be funny or witty.
you
He's
just have to
neither.
be genuine, and nobody gets that from his podcast.
No, because like
It's like we know what you're trying to do, bro.
we know what you are. We
Yeah.
know that you're fucking 90% olive oil too. It's like you just. It's like when they go to the polling and they see like, well, who's the top person they want? Like people thought it was a shoe in for Newsom. It's like, no, they're still rallying behind the fucking cackling moron that got her shit pushed in last
Right.
time around. I'm
Yeah.
like, listen, man, if she managed to claw her way to the top, she would get dunked on worse than ever before.
Oh, Harris.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's a horrible human being.
Well, I don't know if she's a horrible human being, but she's definitely not presentable.
I mean, I think the rest of the world is kind of like, where'd you come from? It's like, California? All right, no thanks. You're going to, because
Pass.
even regular Democrats at this point are looking at shit going on in California and saying, like, guys, I don't want the state to be able to take my kids away because I don't validate their identity. Y'all are
Right.
fucking nuts, right?
So I did look into that case that was going on here in Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still in, like, it hasn't been signed.
It has not been, passed off yet. So, but it was basically relating to custody cases.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We got to watch that one, man, because that one's kind of interesting.
Like, Colorado needs an enema, too. We got to get some of these lunatics
I
out
think
of
we're getting there, man. To be blunt with you, and the fact that Polis didn't like completely sign off on that
Right.
was actually a good sign. So I think he's got a good feel for like where most of us are on some of these things. He's like, whoa, 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 we're not going to tell people to do that. Yeah,
I think he's one of those cool gays that are kind of like, well, no, he's kind of like, hey, don't don't just push us all in the same tent, huh? It's okay. Like,
correct. Yeah,
don't presume we all agree on the same things because it's part of the acronym.
yeah.
Dog.
He's like, hey, let's
Yeah.
talk about it. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right. It's another one of those 80-20 things, and yeah, it's.
I don't think he's stupid enough to run in 2028. I got to be blunt with you.
I think he's done enough. Like, I mean, like, I don't mean that in a gross way. It's like, get out of here. I mean, it's like, no, you had a good run.
yeah. No,
It's
you're
fine.
fine, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see.
Again, I'm always going to give him a.
It's 3 years away. I have no fucking clue.
That's true. But
So that's going to depend a lot more on what happens on the international scene than anything else. So, like every
Okay.
presidency that I've ever seen, second term always hinges on like fucking what's going on in the world. You know?
what's going on in the world and how much money you have in your pocket?
Correct.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And so, and Trump will have a lot of money in his pockets.
Oh, I meant the American pocket.
Oh, our pocket?
Yeah.
Yeah, that like all right, props to him for pulling off the Band-Aid early in his term
Right.
here.
Yeah.
You know, I mean that's fucking ballsy. So
It's the only time he can do it.
it's all he's got left. So
He has
you
to do
know,
it before 2026.
well, I don't think actually after 2026 will matter because once the 2026 election is kind of set, everybody will start gearing up for 2028. So, but he'll still have 2 more years of his term at that point in time. So I kind of see him as like holding our head underwater for a little bit
Right.
and saying like, hey, it'll
Yeah.
work out,
Right.
you know, kind of thing. So, you know, even if I don't have as many toys on the Target shelves this fall, you know,
the thing that he has in his back pocket, and this is absolutely true. This is irrefutable. Is basically the commitments from all the guys that are rushing money into this economy right now.
they are, yeah.
And hopefully, I mean, if these turn out to be good industries that we do here, that's going to make a lot of people happy because people will have new and good paying jobs.
Well, and they won't want to fuck it up in 2028.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
Now, if that if that ends up being something that just doesn't materialize,
Fair enough.
all right,
Yeah,
I got
yeah, game on.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, yeah, if you have that going on, and again, this is the thing that is a direct result of his pressure here, is that you do have these companies committing. It's like pharmaceutical guys. It's like, hey, we did the math. It's like it will be cheaper to build here.
Correct.
It's
Yep.
like that
I
is the
saw that the
only
other day.
reason that we're
Yeah.
going to do this. And I'm like, well, fuck it. Those are jobs that you have here now.
Dude, I saw this great argument last week where you could actually change the entire pharmaceutical industry just by like forcing the VA to actually use American manufactured drugs. Yeah, I mean, it would cost the VA a shitload more money in the beginning, but in the long run, that'd actually be pretty fucking smart because now he sources those drugs from Canada and China.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and I was like, well, you could do that with the stroke of a fucking pen, dude. Do it.
Right.
See what happens.
Exactly.
Just go do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, he's got kind of a little bit of that fuck it attitude, but I mean, even him today, and I'm not on board with him like completely peeling back on some of the China tariffs because fucking bad actors. But
Yeah.
if it's just him keeping them on their toes, I guess I can kind of get with it. I don't like the meme where it's like, Trump does this, MAGA, Trump does this, art of the deal, Trump does. You've seen that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't like that. So, but there's a little truth behind it too. So,
Well, there is like when you nobody's free of this here. It's basically the sort of the fanboyism where it's like you'll tie yourself into whatever Gordian knot it takes for you to see that your team is doing the right thing, right?
correct.
It's I mean, I hate to this is sort of like the Roethlisberger thing. It's like well, I mean, like
You're not wrong.
it's like so every other team like you're a rapist, dude. But if you're a Pittsburgh fan, it's just kind of like let's hear his side of the story. Is
The Penn State. Yeah, got it.
I mean, it's the same. And again, if you're a Ravens fan and you look at any one of the people on your team, it's like, you know, I don't really think there's anything wrong with basically German suplexing a woman. I mean, it's
It just depends on like the context.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, like if you watch the video, she clearly calls him a bitch, and I mean, like,
get German suplex.
yeah, and it's like, and you gotta understand in their culture, right?
Right, yeah,
Disrespect is
yeah,
a
yeah,
very
yeah,
big thing
right,
in their
right, yeah,
culture,
yeah.
right? And it's the kind of thing that you can only solve with a wrestling move, right? And everybody else is like, you all have a criminal in this
What
league.
the fuck is
Like,
wrong with
yeah,
you? Yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly.
this is not okay. And yeah, of course, there's some of this, and you're like, are you hearing yourself talk? I'm like, yeah, yeah. So there is. I don't. The problem here is the same problem I've been running into before. Is like my predictions are often wrong. I presume.
Often, yeah.
I presume like. I presume intentions that are completely like they're based. It's like fucking. I'm trying to do like base 6 math in a base 10 system where I'm like, all my assumptions are wrong because I'm not thinking on the same
God damn
wavelength.
it, zeros.
It's
Yeah.
like fucking, and I'm like, how did you figure that? Well, you draw like 4 lines this way and this, and like 2 and circle this and this. It's like really the math is good. I'm like, I'm too stupid to figure this out. It is. And, it's like, oh, it's really much faster. I'm like, all right, I gotcha. So I'm constantly wrong on this shit. The only things that I can see here, like, if you watch some of the other shit, and the China guys had a great segment on this because they're absolutely right on this. They said like,
Did you watch them last week?
uh-huh.
Yeah, they're great.
And they were absolutely right on this here is the problem is going to be in the country where the goods are being prepared
Correct.
because those are the people who are losing their jobs from the stuff not being purchased.
Yeah.
And jobless people are big time fucking danger for the country that they're in.
They are.
And that's where, and those guys, they were on the train of like 250, 400, 500, 1,000.
Oh, yeah. Same with
like-
Mr. Wonderful. Yeah.
And that dude's.
I saw him on Megyn Kelly the other night.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck those guys.
yeah.
He's like, I can't sue them in court, because not a Chinese national.
Mhm.
So I was like, fuck them.
Well, and
Let them figure it out.
when he said, he's like, look, they've been a member of the WTO and
Since
have
2000,
not played by the rules
not a single
a
one.
single one.
Yeah.
He's like, and y'all are just letting it happen. And again, that's the kind of 80-20 shit where if you throw that out there and people actually know this, right? They're like, yeah, we are kind of getting fucked, aren't we?
Yeah, we're getting hosed. Yeah.
You know, I'm like,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
So how do we fix that? Well, you're not going to like the fix. We can do it. They ain't going to like it.
But it's more doable for us. That's the thing, man.
And so there's a lot of like, I think a lot of right now is, I think there's a lot of like sussing out. I think there's a lot of like trying to figure out what kind of bullshit avenues they're going to try to do to try and get their product out and resold here. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing, I still think when all said and done, there's going to be a negotiation.
Well, and see, that's like the silver lining behind what he said today. Was like, well, I'm flexible,
Right. Right.
and so let's talk, but still at the same point in time, I think he sees the he sees the prize behind that. Is like, well, if you guys aren't going to play the right rules, then we're going to have to use the stick against you. And so here's the stick. Are you guys going to come back to the table? You know, I have no idea, man. I don't know. I watch all this geopolitical military bullshit and stuff like that.
Right.
And,
Right.
I got to tell you, there's people like, oh, we need a 600 ship navy and blah, 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 blah. And stuff. I don't think we do, because quite honestly, they need us more than we need them. A lot more.
By a significant margin.
Correct. And I think Trump sees that. So even though Peter Ritardo might not. And I think he just kind of fundamentally gets that on a certain level. So I don't know, man. Maybe a year ago I was feeling a little bit more hawkish on this stuff, but right now I'm feeling we're going to be okay, because even though the crazy that's going on in the fucking DOD and stuff like that right now.
Right.
In the retards who, keep trying to put the brakes on Israel and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to pay attention to any of that stuff,
I think he's got a lot of things that are like.
I think he's got him right where he wants him.
Well, I think he's also in a good place where he can say, like, and to his credit, okay, so you want to talk about night and day in terms of administrations, right? That motherfucker's answering questions every day.
Every day.
And this is not the same kind of thing where, like, Joe Biden gets to the platform. It's like I watched this baseball game in 1948. And then, like, somebody asks him a question. He turns around, takes a pee in a potted plant, and just leaves. And then, yeah, you also have fucking, like, bitch hole with her, like, book closing. It's kind of like, I'll take 2 questions. You know what? Ask that respectfully. You know what? I'm done. I'm done.
Book closed.
Yeah. We're done for the day.
Yeah.
Fuck you. And so that dude is sitting there in that office just casually answering questions every day. And I think he's in a position.
Well, and off the cuff, too.
Yeah. Which is when he's kind of at his best. But he also has a couple of places where, like those things that you just mentioned, he has the ability to say, actually, you know what? That's a good question for so-and-so.
For so-and-so, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You want to handle this one? And that's exactly what you should be doing. Right? It's in comparison to last time around that I realized how fucking garbage the communication was from the office.
Bad.
And the fact,
way bad.
Again, this is the media. The media should have been calling you out on it minutely by saying, like, where are our answers? Why aren't you taking our questions? Again, if you don't want to come across as partisan hacks, don't be partisan hacks.
Well, they were. So
exactly. Yeah. And that's why, again, much like the game industry, I don't mind watching you guys get taken apart brick by brick, where it's like, do we need you?
Right.
Yeah. The only thing that they're good for at this point is the few networks that actually have panels with people on them that argue both sides. That's all you have left that's working.
Right.
Right? Because you want people that are eloquent enough to make your points for you and argue with other people from that party by proxy. That's the show. That's the show that works, right? Mm-hmm. Because the average person out there can't formulate their arguments worth a shit. They're out there with a
Oh,
sign that
god
says,
damn, it's so hard right now, man. I mean, do you have any idea how much I try and keep up? Not just doom scrolling on Twitter on the toilet, but like trying to find like decent sources who are actually willing to, call certain things out on both sides. It's not easy.
Mm-mm.
It's not easy at all. And I mean, I just go to my Google feed every now and then, and it's just like, oh shit, this is fucked. It's like, all right, so I have to pick and choose the things that I'm interested in,
Right.
and then you
Right.
can dig into them a little bit. That's not hard,
Right.
but the hard part is actually picking like what you're interested in.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's not just picking what you're interested in. It's sort of that fifth dimensional chess of knowing by picking what you're interested in and predicting where it's going to take the path,
Correct.
right? Where it's basically like duck boat races. It's like,
Wait, what?
it's okay. So like you got a whole bunch of like Asian people and they've got money in their hands, right? And four guys are holding these little duck boats, right?
Okay.
And they're looking at a stream and they're looking at where to put the duck boats in the stream that is going to get it to win over the other people, right? Now you can take an educated guess, and you
Right.
can say like you can lick your thumb and say the wind is 15 knots, whatever this way, right? But eventually you just got to put the duck boat in the water, and people are taking bets, right?
Right. Yeah. You just got to let it float.
It is what it is, man.
Yeah.
And
No, you're totally right,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, and if you don't pick the right one, then something else comes up, and you're like, "Wait, fuck! I didn't know anything about that."
That's correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that happens all the time, man.
because I bet on that duck with absolutely
All my chips.
no real science to back it up.
I was just interested to see if Blue Duck could make it.
Pretty much, it's like, well,
Yeah.
how'd you make a decision? Because I always bet on green.
Green's my lucky color.
So is it? Have you ever won? It's like roughly 1/4 of the time.
Right. Yeah, but there's 8 colors. Yeah,
I
no,
know,
it's frustrating, man. It's way frustrating. Like the funny thing is, the last couple of weeks it's been pretty quiet.
It's been people trying to make something into a big
Exactly.
deal.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's 9 more duck boats out there.
No,
You got to pick the ones that you want to actually like pick.
pretty much. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
there are a couple of big deal things going on, but they haven't popped yet, right? That whatever the next round of like Russia-Ukrainian talks, it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
I think it was Rubio that said like, look,
Yeah, we're done.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, and
Yeah.
that's kind of a great place to be in because I mean, you have to Europe's credit, they're like, oh yeah, we do have to like buy our fucking tornado planes and other stuff.
Pretty cool plane. Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
but you got to buy them. You can't just
You
be
got to
like,
buy them. You can't just say you're going to buy them.
you can't just. I mean, here's the thing: is
Yeah.
eventually, like your neighbor's cool, right? But eventually, you have to buy your own snowblower, right? You cannot keep borrowing Jim's. You know why? Because Jim's using it, or Jim's just like,
Right.
it's like, did you send it back with no gas?
You broke
this
it.
time?"
Yeah.
it's just like,
I got to fix it now.
Right.
Yeah.
right.
No, the Ukraine thing, like, I don't know, Trump said he was going to solve it in 24 hours or a week, whatever. These guys are just too far apart, man.
It's a shame. I mean, it sucks. I think that
It's a bloody shame.
they could have sorted it out, but
They could have, but, really when it comes down to it, man, I mean, the fundamental, like, you can ask your Russian friend about this.
we're talking to tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like there's a persona on the Russian side. So we always win, kind of thing.
Right.
If we double down, triple down, quadruple down
right.
on something,
Right.
we're gonna win because that's what we do. But that's just not true, on a certain level. If you actually go back and like I see people do this on the geopolitical podcast. They, well, the Russians are a steamroller. They always do blah blah blah. They only did it once, and that was in World War II.
Right.
They lost World War One.
Right.
Yeah. They steamrolled a whole bunch of guys during the Cold War, who were already on their side. They didn't do it in
Yes.
Afghanistan.
Nope.
They pulled out of the Korean War.
They didn't really win in Georgia. They didn't win in. I mean, like,
But they just keep going,
yeah.
and so people assume they win. But that happened one time.
Well, brother, I mean, you know how this goes. If you look at the grand scoreboard, like the shit they talk about, like the French have a KD that's pretty good. Like,
They took Moscow. They had to leave, but
right?
they did take it.
But I mean, like, if you go back, like on the scale, like all them scuffles they have with the British and the Germans and all this other stuff, I'm like, their their win loss ratio is good. They're
It's the French.
yes.
The French is fantastic.
Yes, exactly. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
They get this like reputation
They
because
lost
of like,
one war to Germany and then another one later.
right.
But prior to that, wins.
Like they had bragging rights for a while.
You still kind of do, man. But like this is the thing is I don't like this narrative that we can just go forever because they don't.
Mm,
And
mm,
I
no.
mean, I'm watching like just like oil prices and shit like that. Russia's getting fucked up by this. Yeah, I mean, you can go on
Hmm.
Telegram and start looking at like some of the places around there. There's no, it's not a good life, and I mean, it's just like, all right, fine. You're gonna get like two provinces in Crimea out of this. You've fucking napalmed all of them. Okay, so you can take it, but you can't have it, kind of thing.
Well, you gotta fix it.
Well, or not, but then it's like whatever. It's like Baltic Avenue
It is. Yeah.
on fucking,
Exactly.
yeah. And the whole thing that I see on this is they basically like crucibled like Ukraine into its own fucking country. Now at this point in time, it's basically like Poland 2.0.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so yeah, it's like, all right, guys. So when are you going to give this up? And granted, Putin's in the 70s. Give him that he's going to live another 20 fucking years. I saw
Right.
somebody do a podcast on this the other day. He was like, great. What do you get out of this? You get a fucking ass backwards economy, that's basically hemmed in by the rest of the world. So you're dependent upon the Chinese who
Hmm.
are eyeballing Siberia heavily. Okay,
Right.
yeah, this is not good, man. You know, take the win. Take the fucking win. And realize that you got Poland 1 and Poland 2 on your
Hmm.
border, and Finland, which has the biggest fucking army in Europe, pointed right at St. Petersburg. So just be cool, and I don't know, man. It's just one of those things where I think it's way better that we're backing away from it because it could turn into a much bigger shitstorm. But
The,
at the same point in
yeah.
time, they're not rolling up tanks into Berlin. We know this.
No.
No.
No. Well, because I mean, let's not for you just mentioned Poland one right now. Okay, like
Poland 1 is fucking dangerous.
Poland one has got that dude from like the end of episode 4. Like he's in the tower with the fucking binoculars, and he's they're over there. And here's the thing: is like everybody in Poland right now has got this attitude of I wish the fuck you would because
Exactly. It's like, yeah, Belarus should be like East Poland.
pretty much,
Yeah.
pretty much,
Yeah.
and there's like they've demonstrated that like they don't fuck around with certain things, and I love this. I mean, here's the thing: when it comes to we've talked about it. Polish border security ain't no fucking joke,
No, it ain't
and
no joke.
and this is the same. They've got this attitude of like, I see Russians, right?
Right.
Okay, so we've got this stockpile of anti-Russian shit that we've been waiting to fire at
We were
Russians.
buying it from Koreans too.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Like I don't care what we
They
got.
want us to test your shit.
What's amazing is the fact that you have to ship like anti-Russian technology over Russia to get to.
Well, they take the long way.
No, that's fine. It's like it's still got your face on it because we're not going to fire it at anybody else.
Right.
And so they're ready to do this. And yeah, there's this point of like, because the way I've had it broken down to me about like what Russia is now is there's essentially like five big cities, right?
Okay.
That's all they care about right now
Right.
because these are the only places where like work is still being done, money is still being made,
Yeah.
right? These are the places where they've let men live, right?
As
Because
opposed to ship them off to the front.
right, so
Right.
what they've done is they've scraped up every fucking Russian hillbilly that they can find. I'm not wrong, man.
No, I
Like,
know you're right, man.
so
Yeah.
every version of this, like, I don't know what the Russian Adirondacks are, but they've scraped them clean.
It's called Siberia. Yeah.
So I
Full
mean,
of Scots Irish.
yeah. The Appalachians, they've been like drained of like fucking blue blooded weirdos. I mean, they've soaked up all the rest of the country, so these five cities run the whole place.
Mm,
And that's why they haven't let all the men die there because they need them.
right.
They're doing like their version of like Wall Street and all this other shit right there.
Yeah.
They can't drain them out, right?
Right.
But you are out of dudes when you have to sit there and say when you have to Genghis Khan to this and actually hire North Korean mercenaries who
That happened.
this is a real story,
That's real,
man.
yeah.
And what happened? They got fucking murked by the actual like Ukrainians. I'm like, they didn't win. They weren't the push. Like, it's not the fucking like. I don't know what they thought. Yeah, I don't know what they thought.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's like these are the North Koreans. Like, these are the like the immortals from 300 with like the face masks and all this other shit. It's like, man,
Just build a fucking wall out of bodies. Yeah.
no, I mean like this is ridiculous. And there comes a point where like, all right, so after all this, what do you have left? Well, you just committed. You took what was here and you gambled the most stupid thing, right? And you turned what was like, well, you were a third-rate power, and now we're going to keep walking you down. We're going to keep walking you down,
Yeah.
and suddenly you're going to find yourself somewhere underneath like Connecticut and like I'm like, and this is the Russian
You
legacy.
gotta hit the militia button now. Yeah.
Yeah, because what's going to happen after that? Well, the individual states are going to split up because it's like,
Yeah.
what do you want? And that's going to be your legacy. You're going to break Asia into a whole bunch of little states here who are all going to
Yeah.
get bullied by China. Like, there you go. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Good work.
What a legacy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you ended the Russian Empire as we know it, dumbass. I mean, that's the thing. If there was any point on this
That's
where,
too bad, man. I feel bad for that. So
well, I mean, I'm sorry. There is a point where, look, if nobody's doing something and you live there, eventually y'all have to rush the big house, right? I'm sorry, man. Like
possibly.
if they're gonna put you under like this,
Or you let it die out, one way or the other.
like I don't think the concept of the Rus is going to like be eliminated from history, but that
No.
what was known as like the Russia, the Soviet Empire, the USSR, everything like that, that thing is
It's fucking
gonna
cooked,
collapse.
man.
It's done.
Yeah, you see the whole thing
done.
that Kazakhstan's been doing the last 2 weeks by breaking ranks with the OPEC.
There you go. Yeah,
You're just like,
yeah.
hey, Brent looks pretty good. Let's
Like-
sell more of that.
It's like, where are you going, man? Like the party's over here. It's like, yeah, I got,
Yeah, come
I got,
over here. Yeah.
I got my own thing going
Yeah,
on.
it's
It's
good.
cool, it's cool.
Yeah, you're not invited.
I'll invite you over once the house gets
Yeah,
ready.
yeah,
but it's
right.
like, yeah, like that whole region. It's like this shit where he's like, y'all thought this was just going to go on forever, huh? Like, no, man.
No.
I mean, I guess that's the United States' credit is, God, like since the 1890s when we came the top GDP, we're like, we expect internal churn like all the time, and we're going to be
That's
capitalizing
normal,
on
yeah.
it all the time.
We put a California governor as our president, fuckers. Twice.
Both Republicans too. It's
Yeah, weird.
Yeah, especially when it turns out that the second one is actually responsible for turning it blue permanently because he's the one that gave that.
Oh,
that
yeah, he wrote
amnesty,
that thing, yeah.
because he gave all the amnesty to the illegals, who then like, what happened to the state? I don't know. This was solid red for a while.
There's a continuum loop there, though, that's coming back
I mean, again, like if you actually watch, this is stuff that they try to downplay. Like, these are the states losing people. These are the states gaining people. Like, California is being like evacuated, like the state's on fire, like it has been. But there are people that are just going to like, I got to get out of this shit show. The problem is there's a lot of people that are like, oh my God, what's going to happen to Arizona? Like, if you're in Colorado, like, we already have crazy shit going on here. I
Yeah,
don't know what
we're
else to
good, man.
do.
Leave us alone. Go
And
down to Florida. Yeah.
Florida's like they're like actively like putting up like fucking barbed wire. It's just like California's not allowed. This means you. Texas is just kind of like, yeah, you can move to Austin, but only in
But only Austin. We got to keep you guys contained.
we have to keep
Yeah.
it contained. And yeah, we're gonna watch your population. We're gonna tag you and like study you, like because we are not gonna let you fucking purple
Yeah.
this state up.
We're gonna
It's
go around and check the underneath the dinosaur skirt.
they're not wrong, man. You just they're just like you cannot Californicate, Texas here. Just
Californicate,
don't you
yeah.
dare, man. Like
Yeah.
Arizona is in the thick of it. You know that. I'm sure that your father-in-law has spoken about it in detail, but
Yeah, but Arizona is like a city with a state glued around it. You know? It's a little bit different. It's kind of like West New York.
it's funny too, yeah, because you're right. And it's just like I've get on like asked about like what Colorado's like. Well, Colorado's a straight line. It like, do you know where the highway is? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like it's that. So it's
Yeah, we have a coast and a whole bunch of ocean. You know?
It's like, do we have hillbillies? You better believe it. But everything civilized happens along this line.
Yeah, exactly. Goes no farther east or west than 2 miles.
Like, does it terminate? It's like sort of. It turns into Wyoming, and like
It's like pinching off the top. Yeah.
it really is. Like, 'cause how do you know? It's like, well, the sign will tell you when you're leaving Colorado. But like, there's a scene in The Simpsons, like when Maggie's about to get baptized, and like when you look at like the Simpsons side, it's like this swamp and like frogs on a log, and all the Simpson kids look like trash. And then the Flanders side is all like rainbows and shit. Like Colorado's here.
Wyoming is there.
Wyoming is this like the grass just dies. It's like, and it's not just that it dies; it loses the will to live. It's just it says I cannot live on this side of the fence. Just nothing but Jolly Jack fireworks stand and shit.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like
Yeah.
another 9 miles to Wyoming or to Cheyenne. It's like ah.
Well, same thing when you go south of Trinidad, man. So
I'm like, I haven't even been that far.
yeah,
Like, what's out there? What's
welfare
we haven't gotten to like the Mountain Dew economy, have we?
in Wyoming or
No.
New Mexico?
Right.
Maybe.
Right.
Yeah. This is like regular meth and green meth.
Right.
I don't know. It's been a while since I drove once that border as well. So
I don't think you've had the occasion, right?
it's been a little bit, but I'm pretty sure they gave me a Medicaid application when I went across the border. So
Well, congratulations. Did you sign up?
no, man, I live in Colorado.
Oh, okay.
Don't need that shit.
Dude, New Mexico.
I don't even know about New Mexico anymore, man. So
The only thing I can say about them is I saw some statistic recently, and they're not doing well, especially with crime.
fucking AMC, man.
Okay, there are certain things that the world has taught us in the past 10 years, especially we're going to start with El Salvador when they proved something here, right? They said, I have a theory. It's like, what's that theory? It's like, I don't think crime spawns on the same rates. Like, so if you take all the criminals, I don't think crime is a set spawn. I don't think it just like it just
It's not like
spawns up.
a RNG, on
Correct.
top of like
Correct.
your baseline crime.
He's like, I think like crime spawns crime, and I'm going to do something. I'm going to put everyone in jail, like everyone. That's like, I don't like the look of you. You're going to jail. What happened? Crime died, right? Died. It's not coming out like there's no new like cartels. There's no vacuum. It's just If it's gone, it's gone.
You just hit it with flat zero.
Correct. And
Okay.
it's the same kind of thing that are making people think like, in New York, it's like, so this stop and frisk thing that we used to do, like it seemed like it worked. It was wrong,
Totally did.
but it absolutely worked, didn't it?
It might have been like borderline constitutional, but sure.
And this is kind of stuff that people are coming to grips with. This is the same like sort of like they're going to start seeing knock-on effects of like basically like the immigration rush on this here, right? Too.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to see numbers that are going to change, right? They're going to see certain things where like, you know, those of us that have like immigration friendly policies in terms of like sanctuary city shut, like our numbers look awful.
Hello, Aurora.
Yes.
Yeah.
And places like Boston and places, any place that is
Denver.
Denver, like places that are sheltering the stuff, they have the numbers to say, like, you know what? That's not working, dog. And the places that actually got rid of the folks, they're doing better.
Yeah, but see, like Denver's a little bit different because it's got this little like chirpy bird on its shoulder called
Yeah.
Boulder.
Yeah, it
You
does.
know?
Yeah.
That it's like, we'll give you money, but not for
yeah.
that.
No,
Yeah.
they're the Martha's Vineyard of
Oh, that's
Colorado.
perfect. Yeah.
Because when they sent migrants there,
They
like
got bust the fuck out. Yeah.
dude, the Martha's Vineyard fucking like SS, like those guys popped up like they came out of like pillboxes.
Generational SF.
Those dudes just like spawned out of the ground and just like rounded them up post haste
Mm,
and said, "Our liberal hypocrisy only goes so far. You
Right.
gotta go."
well, there was a lot of Lindbergh babies there, but yeah.
Like this is the kind of shit where it's like, if you were actually media, you would have lit them up for that.
Oh, but they all live there, Jeff.
Correct.
Yeah, right. It's like, I'm sorry, that's my HOA.
That's what I'm talking about. It's like the Boston Herald's like top news line should have been, "You little bitches," right? And that's the thing. It's just like calling it out. It's like, "You hypocritic little bitches," should have been the headline in terms of calling out people for
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. But
No, tweet, silent.
no, it's just
Crickets.
It's like,
Yeah.
I can't believe you sent them here. People in Texas have. It's like, where am I supposed to keep them? I keep digging these huge holes. And you keep telling me it's illegal to shoot them and throw them in the hole. So what am I supposed to do?
You have Texas Einstein's group in. Come on, dude.
Suddenly that's a crime, huh?
So that's crime. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I was just following orders.
Notice it's a problem. Notice in New York it's a problem. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm done. I'm.
All right, man. I think we're a little bit ranted out.
We
tonight.
are. It was a good
Yeah.
one though.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go try schedule one here.
Oh, I thought you were gonna finish up your shit first.
Yeah. So I'm giving you a 2-week warning.
Oh, okay.
All
All
right.
right. All right. I got you.
Then we'll go.
We'll find a way to hook this up.
That'd be fucking.
I don't
fun.
know if it's like supplemental or just something, whatever. But yeah, sure.
Yeah, supplementals every now and then. Like, dude, I miss playing like co-op games with you. So
I do too. I mean, it's a different sensation. Like I don't have it in me to like care how you guys are doing. Like I would, like I'd be. I don't mean it that way, but I like if there was like an over 40 like League of Legends league, that kind of thing where it's like we don't keep score.
over 45.
Right.
We're out of that demographic, Jeff.
You are. I'm not there yet.
Fucker.
But you get my point. Just where it's like, let's have fun, guys. It's like win or lose, it's okay, right?
Sure.
And I think I'm kind of there.
All right, we'll think about
Yeah.
it. Anyway,
Sure.
I'm Pat.
I'm Jeffrey.
Drug
Have a
loading
good one. Yeah,
inbound.
that's great.
Bye.
Goodbye.